because he was Mr. Irrelevant. They're paying him nothing. Because
he's sharing a room.
Right.
He's sharing rent with another 49ers player.
The 49ers lost the Super Bowl. How much of this loss is on Brock Purdy? How did you think he played? How much do you put on him for this game?
For the loss, not much. I mean, he went, 23 of 38 for 255 and a touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
That's a decent game.
It's a good game.
That's all you can get out of Brock Purdy, in my opinion. It's like trying to squeeze an orange and you just want more juice, but it just doesn't come. You got to go get another orange if you want more juice. And Brock Purdy gave all the juice he had.
That's so true.
I think this was the max of what Brock Purdy could do. And, I know Kyle Shanahan in the press conference was like, hey, I'm really proud of Brock. I love his work ethic, and I get all that. It was, what lost in the game was just the fumbling of play calling by Kyle Shanahan, if you ask me. And that's what you did, so I'm going to tell you. They didn't utilize McCaffrey enough. They didn't do a lot of things that they should have done. But what Brock Purdy was asked to do, there were some, overthrows, and there were some, some pressures that maybe he didn't pick up on, and maybe that just comes because he's a young quarterback still. And, he doesn't have the X factor gene like Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar.
Right.
Like he doesn't have that. He probably won't. I think you're born with it or born without it, and I don't think it's something you can learn.
I agree. So,
Brock Purdy doesn't have that. I think he played to his potential.
Lamar Jackson might not have that.
Well, we'll save that for another topic, conversation later on in the offseason. Well, plenty of time to talk about that. But Brock Purdy did everything you asked him to do. He operated in the Kyle Shanahan offense to max efficiency. He had some really good plays. He had some really good throws, actually, like that one pass to Conley,
right?
Like we talked about earlier, to the sideline. That was a beautiful pass.
Yeah.
And honestly, the pass over the top to, I don't know who was it, IU, whenever the Kansas City guy knocked it down.
That was a pass to Debo. McDuffie swatted it. Yeah.
Yeah, McDuffie, thank you. When he swatted it down, that was actually going to be a touchdown.
It was a good pass. Yeah. Corner just made a play.
Right. And then, toward the end of the game, when the cornerback slipped for Kansas City and Ayuk went out,
right.
He had him. He could have scored there, but that pressure, like you said, Chris Jones went unblocked, and it's kind of hard to get the ball off there. Yeah, could you have made a more lobbed up in the air pass to give the receiver time to get under it? Probably.
And also, again, how much of the setting the protection did he mess up? Well, that's the thing. We'll never really know. Did he blow a protection check, and that's why Chris Jones came in? Or was it a play call thing? It's hard to tell, in that situation.
Right. But just looking at the numbers, looking at the stats, and then also watching the game, I do not put any of this loss really on Brock Purdy. I think he played better and more calm than I ever anticipated. So, will he work out long-term for the Shanahan offense? Maybe. Will he win a Super Bowl? Could he? Yeah. Because anybody other than Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball, I think the 49ers win.
Yeah. I agree with you. I would say I'm a little more than you, just because if I've got to put the loss on someone and I'm doling it out, I'm going to put about 15 to 20% on him. Here's the reason. But not...
Yeah, some has to fall on him. He's the quarterback of the team.
Exactly. But not in an unreal expectation. Overall, I was impressed with his performance.
Yes.
But it...
Didn't use his legs enough, though.
He didn't, but when he did, he made some plays. Granted, they hadn't faced a defense this good. I'll see, it's the best defense they played by far. I said this, I think, preseason when we were talking about it and people were picking the 49ers. What I said was, I am not picking the 49ers to win the Super Bowl because in order to win the Super Bowl, I don't care what conference you're in. I don't care who you're playing. Eventually, your quarterback is going to have to make some big plays. When the play's not there, when no one's open, when the defense has you, your quarterback is going to have to make a play or two if you want to win a Super Bowl. He did that in the divisional round. He did that in the NFC Championship game. Seriously, I'm genuinely impressed with him in that, especially in the NFC Championship game with the scrambling. He did not do that in this game. I love what you said about squeezing the orange. It's like, did they get all the juice they could get out of him? Yeah, I think so. And it's okay. It's okay to say he was good. But that is the difference to me Patrick Mahomes, when the play wasn't there, and I know obviously he's not Patrick Mahomes, but hey, if you want to win Super Bowl and you're going up against him, like, it's not unfair to compare you to the competition. We're not saying you got to be him, but the 49ers had multiple opportunities. The biggest one being that shotgun we talked about on third down in the fourth quarter, double slant. I feel like you got to put some on him for not maybe picking up on the blitz, maybe not trying to get the ball out. He had Ayuk. A lot of quarterbacks can make that play. That's what you have to do. If you want to win Super Bowls, if you want to be a great quarterback, you have to make a play when the play's not there. He didn't do that. So he played good, but he didn't play great. That's what it boils down to me. He didn't make any big mistakes, and he made some nice plays, but he didn't make the play when they had to have it.
I agree, but I think he played as great as Brock Purdy could play.
I also agree.
I don't know. I think he was just maxed out.
Okay, so then the question is this. I've got two things I want to ask you. First one, he's on such a rookie he's because he was Mr. Irrelevant. They're paying him nothing. He's
sharing a room.
Right.
He's sharing rent with another 49ers player.
Because of that, they can have this stacked roster. No one will argue they've got a better roster than the Chiefs, right? No one would doubt.
Yeah.
Even though all those guys...
One of the best rosters in the league.
Didn't show up. But either way, well. the thing is, when the time is up and he has to get paid, you're going to have to pay him something. He's going to want a fair contract. He's going to say Daniel Jones got $40 million. Obviously, he's better than him. Once you pay him, and I know that's a little ways down the road, but I'm just saying, once you pay him and it starts to limit this talent, how much of a fall off do we see? Because we see Brock Purdy with this incredible roster, but once we see Brock Purdy with a decent roster, can you even make it to the Super Bowl? I think that's something they need to start thinking about because you got to start playing the long game.
So he's going to want to get paid, but I'm going to take a different approach than probably most people. I don't think he's going to be greedy. He is so grateful for where he is. He's a really good dude, obviously Christian-based dude, religious dude. I don't think that he's going to fight for money like you see some of these quarterbacks doing. I don't think he believes that he deserves to be paid in the same likes of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
But he's still going to... Jared Goff is getting $33 a year. He's going to want that.
Exactly. So there is going to be some fall off, right? But...
Yeah, about $30 million worth of it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
You have to focus in on the draft at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to go and get cheap rookies and hope for the best. Because you're not going to be able to afford McCaffrey, a high-paid quarterback, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel.
Greenlaw, yeah.
Like, you're not going to... Fred Warner. You're not going to be able to afford all these guys.
That's my point.
And pay your quarterback $30 million. Now, he's going to want to get paid, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's not going to want any money. Obviously, he's going to want to get paid. I just don't think you're going to see like this big standout like you saw with some of these other guys.
I understand what you're saying, but
I'm just saying maybe that will lessen the impact of the fall off. Still be fall
even
off,
if he
but
takes
maybe
30,
not as much.
Even
it's still going to be a big fall off. Like you're cutting 3 guys.
Can they get to a Super Bowl? I know this is crazy to ask this now, but if he's on a $30 million a year contract, can they get to a Super Bowl with a roster built around him on that contract?
In the NFC, yes, they could get to a Super Bowl. They could get to one.
He also can improve. Like he's gonna. You imagine he'll keep developing.
Right. Hopefully, but you threw Daniel Jones out there, and you talk about a big fall off there. We saw him regress so much after he got paid. Right. It's crazy.
They shouldn't have paid him though. He had one season where he was solid, and they gave him $40 million. So that was
at least decision. Brock Purdy has said, I can get you to a Super Bowl,
right?
And I can almost win you a Super Bowl.
And he's going to say, "Look at what you paid Jimmy. Like I'm better than Jimmy," and he is. So yeah. I want to do this rapid fire because with the whole Purdy discussion, me and you genuinely try to have a nuanced discussion about him. We've been saying he's not elite, he's not awful, he's good. I'm going to go through NFC quarterbacks. I'm going to give you the quarterback. You tell me, you say them or Purdy. If you're having your team, who would you rather have as your quarterback?
Okay.
Just rapid fire. Don't take too long to think about it.
My team or who fits in the...
No. You've got a team.
All right.
Say you've got San Francisco's roster. You've got San Fran's roster. Who would you rather have as a quarterback? Ready?
Okay. And this is NFC only.
NFC only.
All right, let's go.
Prescott or Purdy?
Why'd you hit me with that one right off the bat?
I actually think I go Purdy.
Rapid fire, Purdy. Oh, that hurts.
Hurts or Purdy?
Hurts.
Stafford or Purdy?
Stafford.
Yeah, definitely. The only reason you question it is age.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But when I'm just thinking about who's going to win the Super Bowl this year,
Right, exactly.
Stafford on this team probably beats the Chiefs.
Geno Smith or Purdy?
Purdy.
For sure. Kyler Murray or Purdy?
Purdy.
This is a tough one. Jared Goff or Purdy?
I know. This
is like where he's
the
at.
most direct comparison. But I still think I'd go Goff right now because he showed some really exquisite talent this past season. And
put him in the Shanahan offense.
He can throw a ball, man. I mean, that's no problem for him. It's just the blunders that he makes.
But they didn't lose that game for him, that NFC Championship. The receivers
because of him.
His receivers dropped ball. He was doing good. So
yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he operates. He's a better game manager than Brock Purdy, and that's what you have to have in a Shanahan offense. So that's why I choose Jared Goff.
Before this, I might lean Purdy a little bit just because of the legs, because the athleticism, the ability to scramble.
Oh. Yeah, Jared Goff is quicksand.
Yeah, exactly.
He's straight up in quicksand. Somebody gets close to him and he cowers over the ball and falls to the ground.
Right, but he's probably a better pocket quarterback. So that a tough one. So I'm gonna go Purdy now, but I could be Goff. This one is actually easy to me. Jordan Love or Purdy?
Jordan Love.
Easy. Kirk Cousins or Purdy? It's tough.
Winning me the Super Bowl this year, I got to go Kirk Cousins right now.
That's going to be...
Because he's not a bad quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's a really good quarterback. When he plays to his top potential, he's top 7.
Yeah, coming off of a severe injury, though. What's interesting, though, he's an unrestricted free agent this year. Is Shanahan, and Shanahan's always had a fascination with Kirk Cousins. Is he going to see the shiny toy and go for it? Baker Mayfield or Purdy?
Man, this is tough, too.
That is tough.
Because I'm really looking at this last year. I think I'm probably going to go with Purdy, just a smidge.
I think I am too.
Because I think Mayfield out of Tampa Bay is a different Mayfield. I think if Mayfield ever goes anywhere else, I think it's just a little bit different Mayfield.
And Mayfield's little more, he's a little inconsistent. And I like Baker.
Yeah.
But it feels like, feels like Purdy I can rely on more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if you're asking me Baker of 2 years ago, Baker now, like, of course it's Baker now, but, he's a much better quarterback. He's developed well, and he's become more mature. But when you stack him up against Purdy, I just think there's more upside for Purdy